agree with you. I agree with you. My question is: there any other person that has this computer appreciation deficiency? Is there any other person?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay. Okay, Madam, Madam Godsid, after the class, you can reach out to me. It's SciSec done. I'll get it fixed. It shouldn't take 30 minutes. I'll also explain to you where these things are located. And if Williams comes in that time, then Williams can do that for you. But I think for now, what will be best for you, get a paper, get a pen,
I
and make
have.
sure you make notes
Yes, I do that.
for this particular
Class.
class. Yes, ma'am. So we
Yes.
can move forward, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you so
I
much.
take notes in every of our classes, so I always do that.
All right. Uh, I ask you? Have I asked anyone to take note here? It's interesting you actually said taking note because I actually informed other classes that are actually going towards the advanced parts of penetration testing to always take note. And it's something that has been in my mind to also share with you guys. Most things, even me, I myself, I take note. Even while I am working or I'm doing some lab tests, practicing, and the rest of it, I still take notes. These are notes. These are notes. And when you look at my drawers there, I keep a lot of notes. I put them there before. So taking notes is kind of very important, regardless of you watching the videos. There are certain things that might skip your mind because we are humans. But if you have those notes, it's kind of keep you in check for you to know at least. Even with someone explaining, you can define it in your own way of understanding, and that's going to help you along the line when we are proceeding or while we are proceeding into other classes. It's always important to take notes apart from just watching the video and practicing based on what we've watched. So I think if we do that, we would be able to get a lot of things. With that being said, is there any other challenge? Is there any other question before we proceed for today? And if there's none, then we can continue. I hope my net I hope my network is fine and you guys I'm audible enough.
Yes, sir.
Yes, your network
Yes,
is very
yes,
okay,
we
sir.
can hear you.
Okay. So today we are going to be touching before we even actually touch on those things, I will just point on few things on our assignment, which is the nmap. And today we most likely will touch on just one small subject, but it's very important and it links also with Wireshark and they call it proxy chain. I think it is important we know about proxy and how you can set up a network whereby you become very invisible. Um, because the reason why I decided to teach us these things, I think someone raised the question the last class and it was like, oh, can we hide ourselves while we are working and the rest of it? And the last week, this week, I have a couple of complaints from different organizations. I had to reach out to them and I had to guide them through how to use proxy chain. So for those people who are actually doing a lot of things, how you can use proxy chain, even if there's a man in the middle attack, because there's what we call man in the middle attack, which we would also touch on that when we are actually on Metasploit. If you break into a network, you can be in the middle and everything they do pass through your system. So your system is more or less like a server in Bob Suite. I believe since we have used Bob Suite, you see that whatever any website has, it can pass through the Bob Suite and give you those information. So the same thing with proxy, how everything has to pass through that particular hacker. And then they can, maybe you are making use of Facebook, they can see all your credentials, they can see everything. So I decide I trained few people on proxy chain, and I think to help us, we would need to work on that aspect of proxy chain. Hope this class is recording. Yes, I think it should be. Yeah, it's recording. So we would work on proxy chain so that perhaps even if there's any attack, how can you work in a way whereby no one can even see your network, no one can see your IP address, no one can even know where you are chatting from. Even if anyone is trying to scan your IP, you can be in Canada. It will every 3 minutes it's either showing Canada, Turkey, Japan, whatever it has to show, and they can't have any glimpse of your information. We will touch on that. I hope that person who asked the question last week will be here also, or would later watch the video.
I'm here.
With that being said, okay.
Thank
With
you.
that being said, yeah. With that being said, let's just touch on few things on the assignment. And I think based off the assignment, a lot of people actually did well. I need to share this particular system, this other one, because I downloaded the assignment here. Okay, I have to turn this off. Life is a circus, goes round and round. Man, not the circus. I'm not a clown. Some people insist. And I know my purpose to share what we found. All right. So I'm going to be sharing from this other system, and I don't know. Probably I might be using this system to work because this one sometimes I have done a lot of things on it this week, and sometimes it just acts a little bit funny. Um, Based of the assignment, I think I've gone through all of them, but these are a couple of them that I just say, okay, let's touch now. In the idea of the script, those script actually, it's about touching other aspect of scanning the system. It is very important, and I think I've sent a book, a note that actually described the importance of using the script and which of the scripts are also useful. There are some sites that when you are making use of a brute force attack, they can easily just generate the username and password of those websites. But one of the assignments, this is Jinga Emile assignment, and it says assignment nmap scanning and vulnerability analysis. And out of it, um, there might be a little bit of mistake, maybe why the person is typing. It says Windows operating system scan, and I think the person what they would have done after this Windows instruction. Okay, these are the instructions, I think. Okay, sent the instruction, and what did he do? Where did his assignment start from? 80. Okay, I think what he did is, here's where he started scanning. And this is one of the IP scan, that's 2025, yeah. And 19.7.255.50.146. So if you're working in an organization, I wouldn't want to share the reports of most organizations I'm working with to avoid stories that touch. It's not ethical to do that. Um, some things are cool, yeah. WAF detect and use. Okay, the IP address it uses is 197.255.50.156, and it tried under HTTP. And the idea about HTTP is just to see a website that is not secured, if the website is actually not secured, or if there's a difference between IP. Some IP addresses are websites. Some IP addresses are not websites. Some of them are network. That's the funny thing about IP address. So you must be sure, is this IP address for a website? You can scan it to be a website, but if you are using a scan that has to do with a website to scan a normal IP address, then it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense you putting HTTP. I don't know if we are getting it. If we are using HTTP script scan, it doesn't make that much sense using HTTP and WAF detect on a network scan. So the moment you understand and they tell you that this is a network scan and it is not a website scan, it is always better to use let's open this brother here. Let's see. Okay, so we use so under Zenmap, if you're making use of any scan, let's say for example 197 blah blah blah, the most important scan, if it is not a website, we can use aggressive scan. First of all, we can try it with aggressive scan. Oh, this is on the Windows aspect. 197.255.50. One four six. So you can try with aggressive scan, but most times if they did not give you permission and you just want to watch someone's system, then you need to add PN so they would not detect that you have actually scanned their network. If you did not put this, if it is wait, it's like I'm even teaching you bad things. Okay. The good side is you have permission, and the permission is this is the IP address. But if no permission, let's say maybe you are just trying it with your home and you don't want to get the ICMP pinging under your Wireshark, you just use /PN and then you scan. And out of it, you would know, okay, this is, we let's take out PNT4, take off the T4. Let's just start with operating system. It is out of the operating system we can detect. Out of the operating system, we can detect if it is a network. Okay, someone says 255. I think I made a mistake. 255. So if the operating system tends to be Windows, Linux, blah, 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 then that means it is just a network IP address. If it is something that while you use this aggressive scan and PN, it shows something like website link, now that means it is a website. That means we can apply majority of the scripts to it. Let's look at this new Windows. And some of the scripts we can use if it is a website. If it is a Bitcoin website, you can still troubleshoot to see if there are weaknesses around the website. You can use the one of Bitcoin. If it is the one for this DNS, this tends to be for website, domain name system. So you can use brute force. Most of these are applicable when it is a website. This can be applicable when you see firewall bypass, both on a network and both on a website. Reason that if a network does not have good firewall, it can be bypassed and then you would have issues. Also, the same thing applicable to websites. If a website does not have firewall, you might also have issues with it. So you can use that. Now, FTP can be used for an ordinary network. It can also be used for a website because FTP would have to open from a network, that is from a system, to a website, because you have to upload something from a system, like our uncle called CCFE. They open the port from a network to a website and turn it around as CCFE. That is why some of their ports are kind of open. So the FTP will detect, and if that FTP is open and there is an operating system that can be cracked, that becomes an issue. For example, out of FTP file transfer protocol, there is what we call VSFTP backdoor. When we get to Metasploit, you will see many things that under this VSFTP. And if you break through that particular backdoor, you can open a different, just imagine I am in control of your system. I pass through the back and I come into your house. I can decide to turn on your light, switch off your light, decide what to happen with your system. So the same thing with this FTP, this VSFTP backdoor. Once people break into it, what they even just need to do is to just be there, create their payload, create their software, create everything within that system and hide them. And they will be watching everybody's system. That's when you can set up what we call man in the middle attack. That means everything you are all browsing must pass through their own system, and then they have all the credentials. And whenever they decide to take action, they will take action. So FTP, when it's not in use, should be blocked. Host map also for network, HTTP Apache, HTTP Apache service. These things are important. I know some of them might not make sense to us right now, but they will make sense while we continue moving forward. Now, this HTTP Apache, it is more or less like you setting up a network that can become a service through your system. It can become a service. So you upload some files, more or less like the FTP. You upload some files. You can upload a network whereby people can keep some credentials. You can even chat and do some kind of stuff through this HTTP Apache service. So it's more or less like routing your own network to a place whereby instead of people going to a website to send up their file and you don't trust those websites, you can set up your own file, upload it, and anywhere in the world, someone can access it. The person who have the necessary credentials can access it and then download those files. And you guys can do a lot of things through that particular aspect. Now, the same thing, HTTP authorization is just to see, HTTP brute force is actually to see if there's any weakness in the website. So let me look back to this one that is scanning. Okay. Now, did you see that this, okay. This 155 shows that this particular one is a Microsoft Windows operating system. And it is a network. That's the one of 155. The one of 255, it says that, let's see. Okay, server. Let's go through it. Okay. So the person is correct. This is a website. So the person needed to use, you can see. I hope you guys are seeing the system.
Yes, we are seeing.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that means this is a website. This is somebody's website, and the domain is deblowfishhotel.com. So this website is kind of secured. They closed a lot of ports. 443 can be opened, yeah. 33 web server Microsoft Terminal Service. I think that is kind of a bit secured. And you can see that their port 80 is open. Now, if a port 80 is actually open and the version is showing XXX, now that means it is open. That means it's secured. But if the version is showing things like Apache, or is showing that Microsoft, maybe it shows Microsoft, maybe it shows anything RDP, maybe it shows any of all those things. If it shows you the version, it simply means you can break into it. Just because it shows you 80/TCP does not mean it is vulnerable. It is when you use maybe operating and version system, and you can see the version, and the version is not producing any name, it simply means you can't break into it. So this is CyberRoam that they use in protecting it. So you cannot break into this particular one. It is very secured. If you want to break, you also will go through hell. And that means it's going to take some time. So this is a website. And since it is a website, that means the person actually used a nice script. So that means this particular scan actually makes sense using all this to see. That's why you can see that because it is secured, that's why you're seeing fail to resolve, because it is very secured. Now you can see it only shows port state service. One of the things you might be looking for is version. So V is for version. If the version is available and the version is outdated, maybe we are using Windows 10 right now and somebody is still using Windows 7, Windows 8, you will tell the person to update their version, because this version is more secured than other version. And if you observe that most of our Android or iPhone, you realize that most of them, they always ask for updates, and they always want to be updated, because if your system is not updated and they create probably an updated antivirus and the rest of it, if yours is not updated, someone can use a payload to penetrate into your system. So the same thing is applicable to all these services that are here. So I think this person is kind of very right with the kind of scan they use. And that is why it is showing failed, because all the system, all the ports here are secured. Now, summary, you need to write a report and or recommendation. Everything you did here is part of the things I would normally do. Um, I want to see if there's any recommendation. Suggestion to cope this vulnerability: securing web ports involves a multi-layered. Okay, minimize open port and only open the ports that are okay. I think this person might copy this thing from ChatGPT, because this ChatGPT talking, I know ChatGPT's words. Close or block all other unused port, because ChatGPT does not know what's going on right now. So in this recommendation, let me let you know one thing. You have to come up with ideas, but funny enough, the website is secured. So you just say everything is fine with your network and your system. Let's say you're a pen tester. Because if you put suggestions to cope this vulnerability, securing web ports involves a multi-layer, they will say this person knows nmap, and this person start using ChatGPT to talk to us. Me, I know ChatGPT when I see him. So this is ChatGPT speaking. Blah, blah, blah. So that's for this particular Jinga. But the scanning, everything is fine. The suggestion should be every port is secured. But I know there are still other things to learn for us to know when it is completely secured or not. But we will learn that as we proceed. Now, the other person, this one just did the scan. This will be just an ordinary scan. The scan is not even complete. Um, who is this? This person did an amazing job. That means they screenshot the system. So this is more or less like a graphical way to explain it to the person, to the organization. The only thing we need to know, the FTP is open, but we haven't include the version. The service is good. The state shows that it is open. Now, if the person actually add version to it, we might be able to see more things, because once there's a version to it, now it's like I know exactly everything about your system, and then I know the right tools to use. But this is kind of very cool. The port HTTP is open, but when it's showing open, that means there's a version for it. Sometimes, most times, HTTP, okay, security HTTP headers, clickjacking via. All right, I just want to see the recommendation, but everything here I've gone through them. They are kind of cool, so we wouldn't spend the whole day here. Vulnerability summary findings, vulnerability risk level medium, high, filtered 443. No, this is low. This should be low. Missing security HTTP high. How is it high? In fact, 443 is even closed. 443 is even very secured. So once 443 is not showing green, it shows it is very secured. Um, Conclusion: the HTTP service port 80 is running, but the lack of data on the server's HTTPS configuration and security headers leaves some uncertainty about potential vulnerabilities. Critical: ensure HTTPS is enabled and correctly configured. Actionable: check the allowed HTTP methods, configure security headers, and review the SSL settings. This sounds like ChatGPT too. All right. Dynamic website nmap scan. Okay, this one scan table. Oh, let's just go away from there. This one scan Facebook. Okay, Facebook won't do anything. They are generous. Um, let's see. What's your recommendations? Okay, the finding unencrypted HTTP port. This should be low. This should be low. 443 should be low or medium. HTTP, this should be medium. Medium. Missing security HTTP errors. In conclusion, the scan reveals that Facebook blah 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 is running both HTTP on both port 80 and HTTPS on port 443. While the HTTPS service is essential for secure communication, the HTTP service should be redirected to HTTPS to prevent unencrypted data transmission. Well, this person is amazing in one way. I agree with this person's scan, but the scan is not complete. But I think this person did a very great job with the amount of information I've given. I think this person did a great job. And this last one also, um, I think at the end of the day, you write a report, and the report should explain everything. Instagram, okay, if people are looking for trouble. Um, well, this one, this is the person's write up, but the person make a lot of mistake. This is Microsoft. If you're making use of Microsoft, you should use tab to make sure everything is cool. Um, let's look at it. Location, blah 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 blah. No real recommendation here. You only give them the report, but there is no recommendation. Report based on nmap scan, blah blah blah. No much recommendation here, but I think you all kind of tried. I've gone through a lot of it, and I think some of you really tried. At least based of the information we have given, you guys actually tried, and I'm kind of impressed with what I've seen so far. Well, now it's time to go. Please, out of everything I read, like I'm reading the Bible, if there's anything you don't understand and you want to ask question around those assignments, feel free.
Hello, sir.
Before we, yeah.
Hello. Yes, sir. Please, I have a question. I want to confirm if there is a kind of certain things that many of these organizations use to. I think because in many occasions when I scan on nmap and I try to analyze through ChatGPT, I think ChatGPT used to when I because I used to give the exact scripts that I use for the for the scanning. I will send the script to the ChatGPT that this is exactly what I get. What does it think? To collect its own opinion, better for me to be able to conclude or summarize my own something out. So what I always get is just like many of these companies, there are some certain kind of things that they believe that when they have it on their own websites or on their own network, that they actually, they are in one way or the other secure. I don't really get it because it has some sites whereby even from the assignment that I submitted to you that there are a lot of open ports. The one I submitted last week, like I have one that it has about 10 or 15 open ports, and ChatGPT is telling me that from what he's seeing from that particular site that the site is actually, the site is secure, and he's giving a kind of recommendations saying based on my scanning and based on the HTTP scan that I scanned that this site is very, very secure. So I was now being convinced that when port 80 is open, like ports 8080 is also there, like port 25, port 135, and all these ports are open on a particular website. So, and you are saying that I was scanning for that cloud, all this, all this protection of the thing. So I don't really get this thing. Like, is it that many of these sites, like when they have some kind of protection on their own, no matter what the port that is opening, maybe based on their services that they're providing or based on the job that the company is doing, the e-commerce web is different from a bookstore. I think you should be able to decode what I'm trying to pass across, sir. Like, you see that they have their
Yes.
own certain individual places whereby they believe that when they have reached this peak, no matter what the port that is opening, they are not concerned about that. They are actually secure in this format.
Okay. Um, just because you see many ports that are open does not mean that those ports are vulnerable. Now, when you scan them, when you scan those particular networks, what you're watching for, but when we get there, you would know. When you become when we get to the level of pen testing, that is ethical hacking and the rest of it, ChatGPT will tell you something, but you know more than ChatGPT, and you can break it. So ChatGPT will tell you based off some things that it is okay. And I want you to also understand that what ChatGPT is telling you, it is based off the scan that you have scanned. If you have not make any scanning, like talking about the version, because if hackers want to do something now, let me say you give me your phone number, right? And I want to hack your phone with your phone number. First of all, one thing is important. I must know your IP through your number, or even if I know your IP address, I must know, are you using a laptop or are you using an Android phone? Sometimes if I want to hack you, let me say all your laptops are not connected, but your television is connected to network. I can hack your TV and I can turn on the camera of your TV, or I can hack your TV and I wait for you to see when you put on other things. So when you put on your computer, I would look at what is the operating system you are using. If you are using Windows 7, because some organizations still use Windows 7, Windows 8. If you are using Windows 7, God has blessed my butter. Abi has buttered my bread, because now there are a lot of vulnerabilities on Windows 7. So I know how to find those loopholes to be able to break into it. What kind of firewall are you using? I'll be able to know what version of system are you making use of. So depending on the ports, I can see the version. I can see exactly. I think when you get into pen testing, you would know exactly what you see. It's just like a thief. A thief knows that once you carry a bag here and he sees maybe 5,000 naira come out of the bag, he knows if he can take it, even if you are on the express road. Some of them can sit close to you in the bus and they just look at your pocket and they know if they can take the money inside the bus or not. So as a pen tester, you become somebody like that, that is kind of aware of every loopholes that can be in a network. It's just like for me, I might want to hack you and I can't hack your phone. I can't hack your what do they call it? Just say you download you protect your phone with iCloud. I can't do anything with you. I can't hack your phone. But what can I do? I can hack your WhatsApp. You understand? But if you ask Google now that this iCloud on this iPhone, is it secured? Google will tell you, don't you know iCloud? iCloud are the best in the society. Your iPhone is 1,000,000% secured. But your WhatsApp, is it secured? Your Instagram, is it secured? Your Facebook, is it secured? Because when you become a pen tester, you are not thinking like normal people. You are thinking, well, you are thinking normal, but you are seeing things a little bit different. So you are like, if this is the problem, or if this I'm seeing this opportunity here, or is there something that here, what if I go through this place? So ChatGPT would not know if you can hack through the person's WhatsApp, but you can actually do that. And also, I can only send you maybe a picture, and it is only that picture I need you to click. If you don't click that picture, I might not be able to do anything to you. But I might show you a picture that you like watching, and once you click on that picture or a video and you play that video, you have opened the door for me. I am now inside the phone. Because these days, what hackers do is, because of the kind of security we have, most of hackers, what we do is, there's a program I was working on and we call it Evil PDF. Evil PDF means I will send you a file right now. I can't enter your system, but I would have sent you the file. Maybe you are using Microsoft Windows 11 and the rest of it. If it is there and you don't open it, your phone is secured or your devices are secure. But the moment you click on it, that is the end. I'm inside that device. So I can chat you. You might see it and you might not know, but I can chat you and communicate with you and just tell you, bros, I've seen you somewhere. This is what you have been doing. This is what you have been doing. See what I caught you doing. Look at this video and see what I caught you doing. You will just say, you catch me, and you click on it. And now I'm already inside your device. So even if you delete it, I'm already inside the device. So ChatGPT cannot give you the complete information. You as a pen tester, as we get into it, because I know we are not there yet, as a pen tester, you are the one to know that even if ChatGPT is giving me this, it doesn't mean I can't pass through it. So um, version is very important when it comes to hacking. Version of a system, and knowing the right payload or how to encode something to make sure even your antivirus or your firewall would not detect it, and you just get into the system. So, but we have a long way to go. But most times, just an ordinary way, they are secured in some sense. They are secured in some sense. Um, but if they are hiding the version, I think it is very difficult, because if you don't know the version that one is using, you don't know if it's version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, you will try it a lot of times and you will get tired and you will leave it. So you don't know. But once you can get the right version, then you know the kind of, okay, it's just like if I create a virus right now, and your antivirus can detect that type of virus long time ago, it is easy for me to not get into you, because the moment I send the file, your antivirus will just delete it. There are some things you want to download on Windows 10 right now. Windows 10 will tell you harmful, it is threat. So it, even with you just downloading it, it would even delete it for you. it will tell you that this is a virus. But now that means I need to encode it more than Windows 10. So if I encode it more than Windows 10 and I'm using something that they have to also upgrade to be able to detect the kind of virus that I'm using, then it becomes a problem. Like, I just want us to get all this because we are still going to proceed. Let me share the screen.
Man of thought, while you are
Yeah.
looking for that, I just asked a question in the chat section now. I was asking, how will you know a PDF is an evil PDF?
You won't know.
Ah.
But you become paranoid. You become paranoid at the end of the day. When you become paranoid, like for me, if you send me any message, I can look at the message and I will ask myself, if I want to put somebody into trouble, what will I do? That's how I think. Let's say that's MSF Venom. There is this virus that is very is it payload? We use payload or we use encoders. Okay, encoders. Some of them you just have to use instinct. Some of them, depending on the antivirus you have, some of them you need to scan them before you make use of them. Okay, for example, there is this particular one. All these things you see here, they are what we use in hiding a virus. Okay, example, this particular one, this is one of the most powerful one. They call it Shikata Genai. Shikata Genai. And if you check it, it is a Japan code. It simply means there is nothing you can do about it. That's the meaning of this. This Shikata Genai, you can check up that word. It simply means there's nothing you can do about it. So if I use this one to code my virus very well, and I increase the code, there is nothing your antivirus can do about it. So that's what it means. It will break in. So, but until we get to this particular discussion, but all these ones, if I use these other ones, it is easy for your antivirus to detect them, and all normal antivirus will detect them. And let's say you are so powerful and you create one powerful antivirus that we have never seen before, and I encode with this. There's also what we call veil evasion. And when we use veil evasion, that is also another way to bypass how strong it is. You know, it's just like the US today, they don't want people to bypass their security and the rest of it. But are people not bypassing? People are still bypassing. But they will tell you their country is the most secure country in the world. It's as simple as ABC. How are people now bypassing if it is the most secure country? It is that there are limits of people that can pass through without getting detected. So that is how it looks like. If you ask ChatGPT will tell you that one of the most secure countries is America. But what's going on there? Or they tell you UK, and then you see people using knife to stab each other. So that's exactly how it is in the world of cyberspace. So you have to be good. It depends on how good you are that determines what you'll be able to do. With that being said, I believe we have been able to clear the air on that. If there's any question, please let me know.
Sir, I have a
Before
question,
we,
please. Oh,
all right.
so I'm wondering, how did you get that ZSH history, whatever? Because I know in the last class I saw something close to that, and when I was practicing, I couldn't get that. So,
ZSH.
yeah.
Where did I get ZSH?
I
In
think
the last,
it's like a shell environment, like normal command prompts.
oh, okay.
What was it called? It's a way. I think some operating system comes bundled with it. Some. You just have to configure it to have that like shell environment
Okay.
to run commands. So it's nothing really.
Thank
To
you.
run command.
Yes,
Okay.
ZSH.
Maybe I'm really trying to decode what. Okay, this one.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Is
yes,
this the ZSH you're talking?
yes,
Yes,
shell.
please.
This is okay. Now ZSH, this is just a file for this particular system. If I'm sharing this other one with you, it might not show this. This simply means there's a problem somewhere. There's a corrupt file in this my system. That is this particular one. That's what it's showing you here. There's a corrupt file in this system that I'm making use of. So what I'm supposed to do is to use the sudo apt update and upgrade to fix it. All right, it's telling me that it is done. Now I have to use Kali everything, because if it still shows, you can see now that it doesn't show. So let me just clear it off. Now it's not showing ZSH.
Okay, thank you.
I hope you understand. Yeah. So what it's supposed to show is Kali VBox, because this is a normal terminal. It should be a terminal where you can, write whatever you want to write. But this is basically because I've gone through this place. And if the error is there, I still need to upgrade the system and install some applications to correct those files. All right.
I thought you
So
generate all
any
those
question
codes
before?
through encoder. Can you
Yes,
hear me,
that's
sir?
what I did.
Okay,
Yes,
you
through
only pass.
MSF Venom.
Okay, okay,
This is MSF Venom.
okay.
So this is what I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So because if I'm using MSF Venom, okay, for example, like what I was saying earlier, if I'm using something like this, I'm just portraying so we have good understanding of all what this thing takes. Now, when you hear the word payload, it simply means like virus. Instead of cybersecurity to tell you there's a virus, just like a doctor, doctor will tell you intestinal something. They might just be talking about intestine, and then they will just make the grammar so long. So the same thing is actually applicable when we are talking about cybersecurity. When you hear the word payload, it simply means it's simple. What is So when we talk about the word MSF Venom or payloads, or whenever you hear the word payload, it simply means a virus. So in this virus that we are talking about, these are the type of viruses. These are all the kind of viruses we have. The one for Windows, the ones for network. Let me reduce this.
Excuse me, sir. Please, can you help us to paste that command in the chat box, because I'm trying to get it, I don't get it.
Don't worry, you don't know what to do with it. When we get to where you would use it, you would know. You don't know what to do with it. Having it here doesn't mean anything. I'm only using it to describe. It is completely useless to you by this at this junction. So all these are all kinds of viruses. All these you're seeing are all kind of virus. Virus for Linux system. That's why I say you need to know the operating system of a network. This is the one for Windows. This is virus for This is virus for Windows. This is virus for Python. This is virus for Linux. This is a virus for command Windows. That's this CMD on Windows. This is okay. If we go down a bit, how you like this? See, let's see. Okay, you can see virus for Android phone. These are viruses for Android phone. This is virus for Apple phone. You can see it, Apple iOS. So there are all kinds of viruses that you can actually use. So in a sense, all I'm just doing right now is just showing you that if anyone would have to do anything to you, there are a couple of informations they need to have. And once they have those information, then they can use that. In case you are still in, you just want to know this code, that's it. Yeah, MSF Venom -L encoders. In case you just want to be watching the virus and you want to, just look at it, you can call it. Oh, these are encoders. There's one for the payload. Yes, these are MSF Venom -payload. So how to use them, we would, when we go into Metasploit, that's when we touch on them. So now, please, any question before we go into major class?
We have not entered the visual class. Okay, I just want to ask the just away from what we've been learning, the evil PDF. Are you going to
Yeah,
just show us how you configure it, sir?
that might take us some time
Oh,
because
okay.
I have to open. Let's do sudo msf console. And once the funny thing about this thing called evil PDF, okay. The funny thing about this evil PDF is that I can send it to 10,000 people to download. I can send it to 10,000 people, and imagine I have 1,000 that clicked on it and downloaded it. And
That
all
may
I
crash.
have to do is description. So
That may crash your laptop.
I will be, it depends on the laptop you're using. But now, once you have the information, look at how you can use those information. You have 1,000 people's information. From there, you have their account, you have their email, you have their, I don't care, maybe you are using 9-step authentication. That's your cup of tea. You are still, I'm still the owner of your system. Is this one done? It's not done opening. But okay, then we use search exploit Windows because I want to use it on a Windows system. Say Windows Adobe PDF. All right. These are different kind of exploit I can use. Let's say I'm using this one called embedded. So I need to start configuring all these because then I have to use 7. Funny enough, we are not yet here, so I might just be distracting us from going into our major class. Let's just go
All
into
right,
our
sir.
major class.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, so we don't. Yeah. Um, some other time we will touch on it. So this is it. Sorry, let me just see options. Okay. Sorry, let me exit. Okay. Um, in today's class, we are rounding up a little bit on nmap, but we are still going to be using nmap almost till the end of the whole class. Nmap is still going to play some role, but I want us to understand all the other parts of nmap. That's the reason why I showed us the aspect of the script. Now, when you're using your system, we are just going to cover Proxy today. When you are making use of your system, it is always important to use Wireshark. Um, let me. So this is already scanning your system, telling you, or whatever you're browsing goes through this particular place, right? While it goes through this particular place, you can see if it's a network, maybe 5 people, 20 people are connected to your network. You can see whatever all of them are browsing depending on the search, whatever you want to use. Maybe ICMP, maybe DNS, maybe ICMP if someone ping your system, maybe DNS to know the website people are visiting. Depend HTTP to see maybe there's any website that has been visited that is not secured. We can use all those various commands. Um, but while you're doing this, you need to also know things about proxy location. And proxy location is more or less like most people always buy VPN. And when they buy VPN, they think that they are secured because they are using VPN. All they need to do to get you from the VPN is that someone has to manipulate VPN and tell them, oh, I am from this organization and we are using this, we are watching over this kind of person and this person, blah, blah, blah. And most likely they will get you. And in fact, there are certain forensic individuals that can take their time, but they will be able to get information if you're using VPN and still get your real IP address, and then they get you. Or an hacker can still see that you're making use of VPN and can still trace back everything that has to do with you. So, on this aspect, how can you go far beyond using VPN and break into other aspects? Let me be sure that this thing is not public before I whoopsie. Let me sorry, I would end this class stream and then I would upload another one. I think it's on live. Let me end it because